nothing to worry about.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
It's time for Ben's Horror Bullshit.
Your mom doesn't like the body horror thing that you're doing. It's funny because is Goosebumps really a body horror?
She hadn't listened to Goosebumps yet. She
Okay.
called me and she's like, Ben, I don't like this Hellraiser stuff. And
Yeah,
I was like,
we only
well,
did
you know,
two body horror things.
I said it's not for everybody. I mean, well, this is kind of body horror, Jeff the Killer, but
Oh, is it really?
I mean, a little, it gets a little grody. But I was like, you know, I you don't have to like Hellraiser. Like, I don't love body horror myself. She's like, I just don't like it, Ben. I just don't like, and I'm like, it's because I have to talk about like sex and stuff, right? Like, like that's what you don't like. Like, you don't have to listen to every episode. I am a married man, you know.
Kids and parents are probably just better off pretending like their kids or parents don't have sex ever.
You ready to kick it off?
Yeah. Ben, we're doing Jeff the Killer, a creepypasta. You've teased this either earlier this year or last year. I don't remember.
I've been dropping hints about this for a while now. I'll tell you what really solidified it this year for me was I went into Spirit Halloween and there was a Jeff the Killer mask at Spirit Halloween.
Oh my
and I was
God,
like, he's made
are you
it.
Serious?
He's made it now. That he's an official monster. I've got to do something with Jeff the Killer. So this is going to be a little bit of an experimental Words About Books episode. And I normally save these kinds of episodes as a bonus for the Patreon to punish them for the way they vote. But this time, I've decided to do it live, you know? I'm going to read the original Jeff the Killer creepypasta live on air. And we're going to get Nate, mostly his reactions to it in real time, because I've read this so many times. So before we get too excited, I got to tell you a little bit about the history.
Yeah, I was a little. I was taken aback when you were like, I could read this about 20 or 30 minutes. I was like, I didn't realize this was a long creepypasta. I mean,
are you used to creepypastas?
Other creepy, yeah,
like a
Sonic.exe.
No, so
he had black eyes. They were red in the middle, and then he got me after he got Knuckles and Tails and Robotnik, and then he came for me.
So for the elderly, or perhaps the very young, there's a sweet spot where creepypastas were a thing. I think creepypastas still exist. I went to look for Jeff the Killer today, and I stumbled on creepypasta.com. That's a thing. So it had the text of the original one, but I'm not reading it there. I'm reading it from some rando on Wattpad, which is the way all creepypastas should be read.
It was the way it was meant to be.
Yes. So for anyone who doesn't know, creepypasta, the term, comes from copypasta, which comes from copy-paste.
Oh.
So a copy-paste would be a block of text that people would often copy and paste onto various forums, email chains, etc., on the internet. You'd see it over and over. I would say that the origin of the creepypasta is those chain emails your grandma used to get on AOL, where it said, you know, forward this to 15 people or you'll die.
Yeah, the last person who did this didn't heed the warning. He's dead.
So I think that's kind of where it started. Now, creepypasta, I think the term was coined on 4chan. And I think a lot of them came from 4chan. Here's the weird thing. Okay, I got no love for 4chan. My college roommate was really active on 4chan. So I really got no love for 4chan. But I am a person who was very into anime and programming and all that crap in the 2000s. I have seen 4chan. I've been on 4chan. Specifically in, the 2006, 2007 timeframe when this stuff was huge. Probably into like 2010, 2011. So I saw some of this. I like it. It's weird. It tickles my like folklore mythology thing. This is very much in the same vein as like why I like terrible UFO conspiracy theories. The hallmarks of a creepypasta are usually it is poorly written, sometimes egregiously so.
Yep.
And it is usually very stupid.
Yep. I saw Sonic.exe.
There's something about it. There's a whole subgenre of video game-based creepypastas, lost episode creepypastas. It is very much a horror of the internet, where the things people who are terminally online care about become horror. And it's kind of a modern campfire story, basically. The hook-handed man who scratched at the window of the couple making out, and then killed them. These are like those kinds of stories from the 60s of teenagers getting murdered at the drive-in.
He kept flashing the headlights at me, and then I was so scared, and it turns out it was because there was a guy in the back seat who was gonna stab me. I don't think you realized what was gonna happen after he stabbed me, and I slumped against the steering wheel, and I put all my weight on the accelerator. I don't think he's getting out of that one.
Well, the story ended, though, because the narrator was dead and couldn't write anymore.
I thought the story ended because the person explained it or whatever, and the end.
Well, the story ended because I started waving my flashlight around and going, ooh!
But they were never found.
So look, this is all I'm going to say. Before you judge...
The vibes of Quagmire with the spooky story of, and when he woke up, the girl was still there! Ah!
Did you ever see the Parks and Rec where Ron Swanson goes, and even though it was his own personal property, he still had to take it in for a state inspection? So yeah, look, boomers, you know what? You had your dumb stories too. These are the dumb stories of my childhood. I think people are still writing creepypastas today. I don't know if they call them No Sleep or whatever.
Spooky spaghetti.
The whole realm of internet short fiction has changed. There are moderators now. I actually saw on creepypasta.com, I think creepypasta.com seems to be trying to maintain some sort of standard.
What?
Yeah, which
How?
what the hell's the point? Yeah. So they kept taking Jeff the Killer down because it's nonsense. And
what? Oh my god.
So many people just kept uploading it that they decided to have a contest to have somebody basically just take the exact same story but rewrite it to not be so stupid. Like spell things correctly, use a consistent tense, make sure all the verbs matched.
Oh god. I had
Jeff
no
the
idea
Killer,
what I was in the...
Jeff the Killer is written by either a very young person or a non-native English speaker or both. So there is a Jeff the Killer reboot. I feel it robs the magic, but you could go on creepypasta.com and find a much more readable Jeff the Killer, but that's not in the spirit of Jeff the Killer.
Yes, that's not the point. I read, and this isn't a creepypasta because it wasn't a horror, but it was it was Gordon Freeman's like cousin or brother or something.
Okay.
It turns out I just remember the part where suddenly he realized Gordon Freeman had head crab zombie. I think those are the exact words. I I think there's even YouTube videos on that one, people reading it.
There's a million YouTube videos of these. Some people clean them up. I think in the spirit of an urban legend, which is what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be awful, but you're allowed to change it in the telling. It's an urban legend. It's the rule of cool. Whatever is the coolest thing you can think of becomes canon. I like that we have the original text of Jeff the Killer to laugh at and make fun of, but ideally, if you want to keep Jeff the Killer in the zeitgeist, you got to change him.
Who's getting money off of Jeff the Killer Halloween costumes?
Spirit Halloween.
That's
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, no copyright.
That's Spirit Halloween's whole business model, where they have like Jim Skellington or Jim Skellingman, like that. They just do the same costume but change it ever so slightly, so to dodge copyright.
I haven't been to Spirit Halloween in a few years because I assume they weren't profitable, and so they just didn't come back.
They're all over. They have
they're not in my town. You have to drive.
Tropical pirates costume for like Pirates of the Caribbean. You have your ghost catchers instead of Ghostbusters. No, it's
I mean, I don't have one of those. What I'm saying, Ben, they didn't open up here, or I think last year either.
I can't help you. There's like 6 in my town, so.
Yeah.
This says more about you than me.
I'm okay with this.
You have no Halloween spirit.
That's not true. I have a pumpkin suit. Anyway, you
do have a fucking pumpkin suit.
You goddamn right I do. So,
Do you know who David Pumpkins is?
No.
Oh my god. I'm going to send it to you because that's what your pumpkin suit is from, whether you know it or not. So
I don't know. There's a lot of different pumpkin suits on the internet, Ben.
So, my neighbors are like beating each other to death upstairs.
You should
maybe I should be telling that story.
Yeah, that's the real horror, Ben. Real life.
Maybe the real horrors. They're interrupting my podcast with their murder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to podcast
your
here,
murder?
guys. For fuck's sake.
If it helps, I don't hear anything. So
that's good. That's good. So one cannot talk about Jeff the Killer without talking about the image of Jeff the Killer, which, depending on what I decide to do, you on YouTube are either looking at the Jeff the Killer or the Jeff the Killer mask picture I took at Spirit Halloween. Maybe I just cut that in right there and faded it back out, because the Jeff the Killer image is what really sold this, because the creepypasta itself sucks. But the image is
spoilers, Ben. I haven't even properly judged it yet. How can you say that it's
of a white face with distorted features, eyes with no eyelids, and a mouth that appears to be cut.
Was Slender Man a creepypasta?
Slender Man was an image contest that turned into a creepypasta.
Oh my god. All right. Where's the Jeff the Killer game, Ben?
There are probably several Jeff the Killer games. But, yeah, so this image. You're looking at it if you're on YouTube. If you're listening in your car, I can't help you. Google it when you get to where you're going.
Yeah, just Google it in the car and...
No, Google it when you get to where you're going.
You can multitask, probably.
You can't multitask. This is not legal advice.
This is not legal advice or medical advice.
I know you guys, you can't multitask. I hesitate to even let Nate listen to books while he's driving. So much does he miss. So, the image, though, it's what really sells us. It's a creepy image. And there's something of a mystery surrounding it, because I believe to this day, the image is technically lost media. No one knows what the hell it's from.
We gotta track down the author.
They've tried. There are groups of people on Reddit who like hunt for lost media based on like very vague descriptions of like, I saw a thing when I was a kid that had a mouse riding a thing, and they'll find it. And they'll put it on the Internet Archive. Nobody can track down the origin of the Jeff the Killer image file, though. Some people think it's Japanese, that it was from like a Japanese TV show or one of the Japanese. If you don't know, 4chan
hand-drawn, custom-made, Ben.
It's not. It's an image that's been edited. It's an image of a person that's been edited. They know that much. But 4chan is based on Japanese image boards. And so they're thinking that the image started on the Japanese boards and somehow got repurposed. But the nature of the internet is there's really no identifying information. There's no way to guess. We basically have to find the original image and do a comparison. So there's a little genuine mystery there. Now, obviously, I don't think it's like a picture of the real Jeff the Killer or anything, but it's just...
How do you know, Ben?
Fun that well, you'll find out there's probably no real Jeff the Killer. So...
What?
Almost certain. I say probably... There's no real Jeff the Killer.
Anticipation, Ben.
Okay, so all this anticipation. You want to get into the story.
Yeah, I need to know who this Jeffrey the Killer is.
All right, here is how it begins. Excerpt from a local newspaper.
Good.
Ominous, unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous, unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story.
It's the little boy.
I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night,
says the boy.
I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed.
Okay.
I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, were a pair of two eyes.
How did you close the window without seeing him or touching him?
These weren't regular eyes, Nate. They were dark, ominous eyes.
Sonic was looking at me, but his eyes were different. They were black with red in them.
They were bordered in black.
And just plain out terrified me.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what the eyes look like if there's someone in your room, right? I think that's enough.
Well, he's being descriptive, Nate. He's being descriptive.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
okay?
I guess he's trying to help out the police.
He's trying to paint a picture for you here, okay?
That's when I saw his mouth. A long, horrendous smile.
This kid has quite a vocabulary.
That made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever...
Waiting for the perfect time to throw my bed on me and crush me to death.
Check out our collaboration with Unsighted, where we tell the story of the Telltale Heart, which is loosely based on Jeff the Killer.
Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in a way that only a madman could speak. He said,
"Go to sleep!"
And I was like, nah, I'm good.
I let out a scream. Ah! And that's what set him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed, and I fought back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around trying to knock him off me. And that's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife, and it went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of our neighbors hadn't alerted the police.
Wow, that's wow. What world do you live in where the police response time is like instant?
They were in a gated community.
Okay, all right, there you go. It wasn't the police. It was those like rent-a-cops.
This is Elon Musk's son, Teflon or whatever.
Teflon Musk.
So the knife went into his dad's shoulder. They drove into the parking lot. This is the police, I assume, and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. Yeah, they drove into the parking lot of his gated community.
Okay, all right. I didn't know gated communities had parking lots.
Well, they have like a clubhouse.
Most of them have like private drives. Oh, okay. Okay, now I get you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, it's a private drive though. The police can't park there. Like,
I get you.
Yeah.
So there's a clubhouse. They parked in the clubhouse, and then they jogged the rest of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Okay.
So Jeff's running down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking.
Hold on.
Okay, if you're gonna stop me every
down
line,
the hallway.
Jeff is running down
the hallway.
Yeah, he's not going back out the window. He's running down the hallway.
That guy having any sort of athletic anything. Like,
Jeff is very athletic. Jeff is
body.
Very athletic.
Okay.
Jeff is an NFL running back. So okay, blah 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 blah. House is broken into. As I came out of my room, I saw that you can't help me find my place in the text. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. This is why I said it might be two episodes.
I thought that's what I was here for, Ben.
Nathaniel, we've gotten through 3 paragraphs. For God's sake. Okay, so as I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. Kid's getting less articulate now. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance, and I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, an athletic running back with psychotic eyes and a big psychotic smile.
It kind of stands out, doesn't he?
He does kind of. Well, Jeff wears a hoodie, you see. We'll find out.
Oh, okay. All right.
But he also wears white pants, I think. So
I was going to say, if he wears a hoodie, shouldn't that make the police more likely to pick him up?
Jeff is actually whiter than white, so...
Yeah, and he covers it up.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So, yeah, police are still looking. If you have anyone that fits this description, please contact your local police department. Now we go back in time a little, okay?
All right.
It doesn't say that, but I'm helping you guys, so now we're going to go back in time a little. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work.
Us.
His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods, perhaps a gated community, perhaps where Elon and young Teflon live. And Jeff and his brother, I'm going to say Lou. It is spelled Liu.
That's like I've seen that name before, but it's like East Asian.
Yes.
And it's usually like a last name.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
I went
Liu,
to a high school with a kid who had that as a last name, so... But okay.
No, so the family is Jeff, Liu, Margaret, and Peter.
Yeah, no.
So you tell me, is it Lou?
Lou, it's got to be Lou. Lou kind of stands out.
Maybe he's adopted.
Lou adopted? Yeah.
Maybe he's
that's
adopted.
A possibility. All right.
So they're moving into a fancy neighborhood. Elon, Teflon, Jeff, and Lou. Jeff and Lou couldn't complain, though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of the neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over.
Oh.
Billy, these are our new neighbors.
You said girl.
Billy said
so
hi.
I assume Jeff said
what?
But whatever. No, keep
Girls?
going.
What?
Keep going. I figured
Okay.
it out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. Well, said Jeff's mom, I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my 2 sons, Jeff and possibly Lou. They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to.
Damn, that was fast.
When Jeff and his family are done unpacking, Jeff went up to his mom. This is the tense stuff I'm talking about.
This is supposed to be tense? Like I'm
No,
supposed
no,
to be
no.
feeling like...
When Jeff and his family are done
I
packing,
see. Tense.
Jeff went
Okay,
up to his
yep,
mom.
I
Yeah,
get what
so
you're
like
saying. It's the tensing instead of past and then present. This should all be past tense if we went back in time.
Yes, it should all be past tense.
Goes up to Mom.
Okay, so yeah, Jeff. Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's birthday party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid. Jeff, said his mother, we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final.
God, no one understands me.
Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling, when suddenly, he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling.
Oh no.
He dismissed it as just some random feeling.
John the Killer.
He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it.
Okay.
The next day,
Okay. All right.
Jeff walked downstairs to get
feeling
breakfast.
Over?
It's like Goosebumps. He walked downstairs to get his stuff, and then he went to bed. Long rest, new day.
That checks out.
Got his spell
checks out.
slots back. Yep. So the next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. But this time it was stronger. It gave him a slight, tugging pain. But he once again dismissed it. And as he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the
accidentally
bus.
Catch it in his zipper or something? What?
Okay, things are about to pick up, okay?
Oh God. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so buckle in. So
All
they
right,
sat there waiting.
strapped in.
Okay, thank you. They sat there waiting for the bus when all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. He's jumping over their laps. That's less impressive.
Oh, okay.
They They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands, real like Fonzie, this kid. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Aeropostale is a store, and I think he spells it wrong. Aeropostale is how he spells it. I don't think that's how it's spelled. But
Okay.
he's wearing it's a preppy brand, so these are preps.
Well, yeah, they live in a gated community.
This is the Great Prep Goth War of 2007.
God help us all.
So he's wearing this stupid shit, and then he goes, well, it looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny, and the other was huge. Is R.L. Stein writing this?
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest that this could be a Goosebumps book.
Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have.
Yep.
And he's
Real
Troy.
sidekick vibes. Troy!
They looked over at the fat
me.
kid. They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. I'm not making it up.
Oh my my god! I thought when you said big, I was like, he's like muscular, but no. I guess
These are the exact words. They looked over at the fat kid, talk about of Tuballard. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling.
God, did Ernest Cline write this?
And I, said the first kid, am Randy.
Ah, Randy.
Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price to pay for bus fare, if you catch my drift.
Why are you voicing him like that?
That's how I imagine him. Is that not how you're imagining this? So Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of this kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. I forgot about this.
Jesus Christ, that escalated quickly.
So it went from R.L. Stine to Stephen King. So then Randy goes, "Tisk, tisk, tisk. I had hoped you'd be more cooperative. But it seems we must do this the hard way." The kid walked up to Lou, I'm unclear which kid, and took his wallet out of his pocket. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. I think he took Lou's wallet out of Lou's pocket.
Yes, that is the assumption I got.
Jeff got that feeling again. Now, it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured at him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. "Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet, or else." Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled his own knife. "Oh, and what will you do?" And just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
I told you this is body horror. Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy on the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground, screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell over, he puked. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. That was your first fight scene.
Supposed to be our horror monster? What?
Oh, because he's gonna get scarier, I guess. You know.
It sounds like he's totally justified in what he's doing. I don't know.
I mean, he was they were threatening to murder him. The knives are pretty egregious. So right now, I think we're on Jeff's side, right? You know, this is pretty good, Jeff. Good on you, Jeff. Lou's gonna talk now. I haven't decided on a voice for Lou, but I'm thinking, "Oh, Jeff, how'd you do that?" And that was all he said.
With my fists?
They saw the bus coming, and they knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back, and they saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they ran all the way to school. They didn't dare tell what happened.
Yeah, first of all, they ran all the way to school, and also the bus drivers I knew would not have gotten out of the bus. But my God, hurry up and get up off the ground. Come on, I've got a schedule to keep. Get up. You're not dead. You can get up.
School bus drivers are paid like $8 an hour, and they work for 2 hours. No way.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I am not getting stabbed for this.
Yeah, no.
So
you don't get in this bus in like 10 seconds. I'm driving away without you.
Yeah. So this was a caring bus driver, though. The bus driver may be the real hero of the piece. So Jeff and Lou made it to school. They didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids. But Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling,
though?
as he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. That's fucking poetry. He got that feeling.
So he decided to become
felt
a
how
professional
powerful.
wrestler. Yeah. Oh, that is poetry. You're right.
Yeah. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The
High art.
urge to just hurt someone.
Yeah, be a pro wrestler or UFC fighter. I was getting big around this time too, so
It was getting
UFC,
big around this
not,
time.
not pro wrestling.
Yeah. So he got the feeling. It's a powerful feeling, urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He had that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. As he walked home, due to the whole thing near the bus stop, he had to walk home. He didn't want to get on the bus, awkward situation. Now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He still felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said, in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, same paragraph, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door. His mother looking back at him with an angry look.
No way.
Jeff, these police officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, and that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son! That part's actually in there. I didn't make that up. Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones who pulled knives on me and Lou. Son, said one of the cops, we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us?
Can I kick some fucking ass?
Jeff knew that it was no use talking to pigs. I added that.
Oh! Oh, Jesus.
Jeff knew that it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but there was no proof of it. There was no proof it was not them who attacked first. I mean, there probably was. But yeah, we're going to move on. So,
yeah, I mean, you could say that like it was their knives, for example. I mean,
They
you're in a
couldn't say
gay
that-
community. Are there not
Yeah.
cameras around here? I mean,
They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing, because truth be told, they were. But yeah, you were fleeing the people who attacked you with knives. Like you disarmed them and then you ran away, which is a responsible thing. You could have killed them while they were down, but you didn't.
yeah, you
Jeff,
could
get a
very
lawyer.
Easily,
You could parlay
yeah,
this.
a lawyer could
Yeah.
win this easily
Yeah.
because it's their testimony against yours. So,
Yeah, well,
you
there's
know.
no proof you didn't attack first. There's no proof they didn't attack first. So,
Exactly.
He said, she said.
Exactly. People have gotten off for dumber.
Well, Jeff's stupid. So Jeff knew he couldn't defend himself or
No,
Lou.
his parents are stupid. He's 13. He's allowed to not know about the legal process. His mom should probably be like, I want a lawyer. We're in a fancy gated community now, so, like, we can afford a lawyer. If you touch my son, I'll have your badge. I'm a real Karen
Son.
now.
Son, because I'm not sure who's talking. I'm not sure if this is the cop or the mom, but the cop had called him son, and the mom hasn't said that yet. So, son, call your brother down. Jeff couldn't do it, since it
God, I
was
hope
him
that's
who
the
beat up all the
police.
kids. Sir.
Yeah, but he's a witness.
Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me.
Okay.
The cop looked at his partner, and they both nod. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie.
I don't think that's how that works.
They're sentencing him right on the stoop.
Yeah, wow, they're the judge and the jury, apparently.
Wait, says Lou. They all look up to see him holding a knife. The officers pull their guns and lock them on
What?
Lou.
Okay, is this really a gated community, or is this like the inner city?
What do you imagine the inner city to be?
I'm imagining God, either Cleveland or Cincinnati, Ben.
Somewhere in Ohio. This whole thing takes place. This could take place in a gated community in Ohio.
But then again, I guess the police wouldn't care if it were. Yeah, okay, alright.
It was me. I beat up those little punks. And I have
See, there you go. Now you've
marks
got
to prove it.
You've got
He-
plausible deniability for both of them. You can't pin the crime on both of them. I mean, I guess you can, but...
Well, Lou lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises as if he was in a struggle.
I mean, that doesn't prove anything other than you got attacked.
Son,
Which I guess is helping your case, really.
son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands
They
up and
opened
walked
fire?
over to the cops.
No! It was me. I did it.
Jeff had tears running down his face.
Poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away.
The police led Lou out to the patrol car.
That's what we're doing? We're going
Lou!
with that?
Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them I was the one who beat up those kids.
Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders.
Jeff, please, you don't have to lie.
We know it's
Why
Lou.
are you believing Lou, but not Jeff? What?
You can stop now. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few
That was
minutes
the last
later,
I ever saw of Lou. They took him right
few
into
minutes-
juvie and just locked him up.
a few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing
Where
something
was
was wrong.
he?
Presumably at work. That's where dads go, right?
Yeah,
mean, that's all
but
the
this
child
is in
who
the
wrote this
morning,
knows.
isn't it?
No, it's afternoon because they just got home from school.
I thought that this was the next day. Same paragraph, Ben.
Yeah, no, this is the morning.
All right.
I don't know. He was drunk. So, I haven't given Jeff's dad a voice yet. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer.
Father!
His vocal cords were strained from crying. Jeff's sensitive. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway.
The police took our son away and we can't see him for a year. This is real life.
After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind.
It's in the morning, sir. You have school today.
Well, you're gonna like this next part.
God.
2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC.
We don't know about bail, or due process. He's just in there.
No friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday.
Inside changes a man.
This is kind of the tone of this story. That is until Saturday when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face.
Hey, we learned that lawyers exist. And bail.
Jeff, it's the day, she said as she opened the curtains and let light flood into his room. What's today? Jeff asked as he stirs awake. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake.
What? Are we
Did
still
you forget
doing
about
that?
Billy's party? Yeah, we're still doing Billy's party. You're not going to miss Billy's
your-
party just
your
because your
son is-
youngest son got locked up.
Your son was just stolen and kidnapped by the police. He's in
This is
juvie
Billy's
now.
fucking party, Nate. This is the social event of the year. Teflon Musk is going to be there.
Teflon Musk. Is that his name, Ben? Because
I have
can
no fucking
believe-
clue. I think that's the one he had with Grimes. I could be spreading misinformation. So does Elon Musk. Who cares? I think maybe his son is named Teflon Musk. Prove he isn't. Okay.
Teflon the Killer.
Doesn't Teflon, son of Elon, sound like something that would flow in a Lord of the Rings type situation?
Yeah.
So
Or
that's
Star
what we're going
Trek.
with.
I am Teflon,
Yeah.
son of Elon,
Yeah, there you go.
of the planet Musk.
So, Jeff's going to the party, right? Okay. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after... There was a long pause.
After you've been asleep for 2 straight days? Oh.
Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself.
Okay.
He fought himself to get up. I don't really know what that means. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. Noted adult
They're going to
clothing.
the party too?
Yes, it's fucking Billy's party, Nate.
My bad. Are they a little concerned that they're wearing a suit and a dress and Jeff is just wearing whatever he found on the floor?
I don't know, if you shut up and listen to the story, you might find out. He thought,
I will
why
never.
would they ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party?
Because it's Billy's party.
Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeff's
Oh
mom.
my god. I predicted
Better than
the
wearing
story, Ben.
too much, he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile.
Yeah, that's
Now,
another one
Jeff.
where we're seeing this from Jeff's perspective, but we're feeling what the mom is feeling.
It's an omniscient third-person narrator, Nate. He just hasn't been narrating anyone else because he doesn't care.
Yeah, okay.
This is a subtle screenwriting, story writing, composition. What's a word? This was definitely not written by a child. Shut up. So,
Okay.
okay. So, hit it with a smile. Wanted to smack him. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but if this is how you want to go to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled down the stairs.
Why
Just
not?
pick something, called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions, and an undershirt. He couldn't
Ooh.
find a shirt to go with it.
Sweater vest. Sweater vest. Sweater vest.
Jeff the Killer does not wear a sweater vest, you son of a bitch. So he couldn't find a shirt to go with it. He looked all around. He found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go with dress pants. Maybe a young girl wrote this. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on.
Oh my god. And the hoodie merged with his face.
You're wearing that, they both said. His mother looked at her watch. Oh, no time to change. Let's just go.
Why
We'll
didn't
miss
you go
Teflon's
up
christening.
with him then?
I may be embellishing slightly here and there.
Teflon's christening.
Oh no time to change. Let's just go, she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street. It's literally across the street. Over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. I'm going to read that sentence again. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed.
Okay.
Moving along.
Yeah, that checks out.
As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids.
It's Billy's party.
"The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them?" said Barbara. Jeff
Are they
walked
going
out-
to be the kids that tried to stab me? Because I'm pretty sure they live here, right?
Nate, I'm going to need you to stop writing this fucking story, okay? Jeff walked outside. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. This story is about to go to a place that you are not ready for.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to buckle in.
Is the
again.
random Hogwarts Japanese instructor going to come out of nowhere? And
I'm going to
really
ask you to
racist
buckle
and
in. Buckle in, okay? Which means
I'm
you can't
adding
talk
the
for
second buckle.
a minute. Okay, you can't talk for a minute. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting at each other with plastic guns. He might as well have been standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and a hat. "Hey, wanna play?" he said. No, kid, I'm way too old for this stuff." The kid looked down at him with a weird puppy dog face. "Please," said the kid. "Fine," Jeff said. He put on the hat and started to pretend shoot at the kids. At first he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off Lou. So he played with the kids for a while, until he heard a noise. A weird, rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with burning hatred. "Hello, Jeff, is it?" he said. "We have some unfinished business." Jeff saw his bruised nose. "I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you get my brother sent to JDC. I don't know how this guy knew. Like, he doesn't know about bail or judges or anything, but he knows the Juvenile Detention Center can be abbreviated to JDC. You can talk again.
How did they jump over the fence?
On their skateboards? They're very athletic, except for Troy.
Okay.
Troy kind of
did he
shammooed.
jump over?
He kind of shammooed his way over, you know, like, you know, Free Willy, where, you know, in the Free Willy parody where he crushes the kid. That's what happened here. So, they're back. Where's this going? So, Randy got an angry look in his eyes. "Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning." "You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today." As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose and grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off him and they both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. I forgot about this too.
What? Oh my god! What?
Doing the Randy voice really hurts my throat. Okay. "No one interrupts or guts will fly," they said. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff. He's got a gun and a knife, and he stabbed Jeff in the shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked back towards the door. Troy grabbed him.
Why didn't they just shoot him?
Well, I'm gonna get...
They're already trying for attempted murder here. Which, I guess, is JDC for a year. So...
Okay, so, I think this is Troy. Troy grabbed Jeff. I think this is who's talking.
Yeah.
"Need some help?" And he picks Jeff up by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. Troy's surprisingly athletic. This is fathletic. He's a sleeper, this guy. So he throws Jeff through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. "Come on, Jeff! Fight me!" And he picks up Jeff and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. "Fight!"
Conscience?
He throws Jeff back into the living room. "Come on, Jeff! Look at me!" Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. "I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC, and now you're just gonna sit here and let him rot there for a whole year. You should be ashamed!" And Jeff starts to get up. "Oh, finally, you stand and fight." Jeff is to his feet now, and blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one he hasn't had for a while. I'm glad the story's aware of that. "Finally, he's up," says Randy as he runs at Jeff. And that's when it happens. Something snaps inside Jeff. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone.
I'll put the Super
All
Saiyan music over here.
he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground.
What? How? What?
He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps
Little
for
did we
breath.
know Randy had a genetic condition where he just didn't have ribs.
As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies.
Didn't he have friends with guns? Like,
We're getting back to that. Every time you say
Right
something,
over
the
there.
story... Every time you think of it, the story remembers it too. Okay?
where were
So
they
everyone
this
is
whole time?
Okay, everyone's looking at Jeff now, okay? The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, they remembered. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him. Those are the actual words. Each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. I'm sorry if you hear my wife laughing in the background. I don't have a separate room to do this in. So Jeff ducks into the background. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready, not guns. They used all their ammo, I think.
They used all their ammo, yep.
So Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. And again, these are the exact words. "A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It
In the
burnt."
bathroom?
Yeah, there's bleach in the bathroom. You clean your bathroom with bleach.
I don't store it in the bathroom.
No, you don't. I mean, you don't typically store it on a shelf under the sink, but
Yeah,
Look.
okay, all right.
okay.
You know,
They're in a
this is
rush
weird
to
house.
clean for the. They
This
were in a
is-
rush to clean for the party.
This is
They
Billy's
didn't think anybody was
house,
going
okay?
upstairs. This is Billy's house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teflon Musk was evacuated. Don't worry.
I was very worried.
And okay, so a thing of bleach falls on them, and it burnt both of them, and they started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best he could. He pulled back
I don't think
I
you
know.
have eyes
Wait.
anymore.
I know what you're thinking. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head.
Wait, how
as
did
he
the
lay
breach
there.
even open? All right, sorry. Just keep going. This is okay.
As he lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile.
Okay.
And then, this is
Good
Keith.
laugh.
Keith let out an ominous smile.
Yeah,
as he lay there
that's
being
how I
okay.
read that.
Okay, I didn't. Sorry, I'm confused. You're
He
doing better. I'm a
lived- he
great
lived-
audiobook narrator. I'm sorry.
He's a 12-year-old lackey, and his boss died, and instead of fleeing, he was like, "I lived a good life, YOLO."
What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. It's one of those lighters that stays on when you throw it.
Stays on, yeah.
As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin.
Okay.
Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, drop to the ground, nearly dead.
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
He's nearly dead.
Okay.
The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flames. That's when he passed out.
Did he get the other kid? I think he only killed 2 of them, right?
I think he hit Troy, and then it says only Keith was left. Troy did not get much of a story.
Is Troy
he was fat.
dead?
Well, he was fat, so like practically he was dead already, you know? Like, can we even really say Troy was alive?
He was very fatletic, okay?
He did have the strength of 2 men.
He was able to jump over a fence. He was able to skateboard. He didn't even need, like, in Rocket Power, how Sam had the big surfboard. This guy didn't need a giant skateboard, Ben.
If you want to hear more about Rocket Power, please subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean. If you know, you know. So, when Jeff awoke, he had a cast. I don't think they mean cast. He had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. I don't think this person knows the difference between a cast and bandages.
Yeah, no. I don't think you'd want to wrap your face in a cast. And I don't think a cast is necessary for a stab wound, but okay. You know what? I'm getting a real 12 to 13 vibe here, Ben.
Yeah, I would say you're correct. I mean, and like not like, you know, not an honor student, you know, not on the high end of 12 to 13, let's say. So that's okay. So he tried to stand up, but he realized there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in.
Tube in his arm. Okay.
I don't think you can get out of bed just yet, she said, and put him back in his bed and reinserted the tube.
Okay. That's all right.
He's got a cast on his head. Here. He doesn't know what's going on.
but the biggest problem here is the fact that he can get up at all. I don't think a nurse is going to have to tell you to get back into bed. I think you're just not going to be able to get out of bed. But, you know, maybe Jeff is a very exceptional 13-year-old. So
I think we know that he is. He has now been in 2 action movie fights. So Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Well, presumably a hospital.
Well,
finally,
how did you know about the tube in his arm then, and that a nurse came in?
Well, he felt the tube, and he heard the nurse. He has some idea of what his surroundings are. He's just lying. He's just lying. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's not. Maybe that's why he has a cast on his head. Maybe this is a Saw type situation. No, so, okay. Jeff sat there, no vision, no idea what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother.
Honey, are you
Alright.
okay? She asked.
Jeff couldn't
How do
answer
you know
that.
I'm awake?
Jeff couldn't answer.
Are you okay? What? Who would
His-
even ask such a question? He was lit on fire and got the shit beat out of him and stabbed and shot at.
Okay, so Jeff couldn't answer. He couldn't say that. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak.
Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed to trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go.
This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm.
He'll be out by tomorrow, and then the two of you will be together again.
Okay.
Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those...
Please don't
Okay, I'm
hug me. I have burn wounds all over my body.
The next couple of weeks were those were... Okay, hang on. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day
Agreed.
where his bandages were to be removed. They learned what bandages are.
All right.
His family were all there to see it. What he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. "Oh!" Lou and Jeff's dad stare, awestruck, at his face.
What? What happened to my face?
Jeff said. He rushed out of bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face, it's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror.
Jeff, said Lou, it's not that bad.
"Not that bad," said Jeff. "It's perfect." His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching.
Probably
Jeff.
from all the nerve damage, yeah.
Jeff, are you okay?
"Okay. I've never felt more happy. Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me." He couldn't stop laughing. Ha ha ha! He stroked his face, feeling it. He looked at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity, snapped. Now, he was
Is
left
that
as...
what that was?
Yeah. Now, he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. I don't think that's how they meant to say that.
Yeah, could you repeat that for me?
Okay, so I'll repeat it and then I'll tell you what it means. So, as you, the audience, recall, that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. So what they're trying to tell you is, Jeff's insane. He's nothing but a crazy killing machine, but no one knows that.
Okay.
You follow?
Yeah.
Cool. Doctor. No, wait, sorry, wrong voice.
Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son all right, in the head?
I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know why you're asking me. Anyway, get out. He's cured.
Well, let me tell you what the doctor says.
Your insurance didn't clear, so I brought in the real horror was the American healthcare system.
The real monster was the American healthcare system. Oh, God. Okay. So the mom asked, doctor, is my son all right, in the head? Oh, yes. This behavior is typical for patients that have taken a very large amount of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test.
None of this sounds like a thing that would actually happen.
Do you fucking think?
This 12-year-old who wrote this.
Is this where it started to get a little unbelievable for you? Is this stressing your suspension of disbelief? Just a smidge. Not when the bleach bleached his skin and the... Okay, so the fight, right? The fight... I don't know if you quite absorbed all of that. The fight turned his skin white, turned his lips red, and turned his hair black.
That fight was his origin story.
He is
it turned his hair black?
Yes, it singed his hair black.
It didn't just burn his hair off.
No, it turned it black.
Okay.
He is ready to go on tour with My Chem. He's a member of the Black Parade. Okay. Now.
Check out our video on, or our episode on Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah, please, that needs the fucking downloads.
Especially with the second part.
Oh yeah, little inside baseball there. Okay. So the doctor will give him a psychological test if he should happen to kill anyone. So, oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go. Jeff looks away from the mirror. His face still formed into a crazy smile. "'Kay, mommy." His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. "This is what came in," said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and the white hoodie her son wore. They were clean of blood now and stitched together. The hospital tailored his clothes.
Stitch them back together. Yeah.
I say this as a man who has had many a shirt cut off him in the emergency room. No, they don't do that.
No,
they don't do that. They just send you out in a fucking gown. Okay. Anyway, so that's what came in. They were clean of blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. She didn't bring clothes for him. She was relying on the fact that the hospital still had his clothes. Then it is starting to pile up. It is starting to pile up a little. Then they left. Nate, not knowing that this was the final day of their life.
Oh, okay.
Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff's pants around his ankles now. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks.
I've also
Jeff.
seen The Dark Knight.
You want to know how I got these scars? I carved them. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever.
Okay, but wouldn't this hurt more?
Jeff's mother
Ah, well.
noticed his eyes ringed in black. And they didn't end the quote. That could have all been said from Jeff's perspective, but I'm crafty and I gathered their intention. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face.
You can die from not sleeping.
Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran to the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the gun. She stopped and saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife.
Is that what she said?
Honey, get the gun.
Get
We
the
dot dot
gun?
dot. Get the gun. We
That
gotta
was
kill
their
Jeff.
First,
Get
their
the gun.
first reaction
Jeff gotta
was,
go.
We gotta euthanize our son. Hurry up.
She already watched Jeff get set on fire, stabbed, shot at. She knows there's only you got to put him down now. We're not going to be able to conquer this evil. So, honey, get the gun. But she stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy,
Okay.
you lied.
This guy.
That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with the knife, gutting both of them.
Okay. I think I could take a 13-year-old in a fight, knife or not. I mean,
I don't think you could take Jeff the
might-
Killer.
it might get me, but like, you know.
I don't think... I would love to see you knife fight a 13-year-old. I think you're overestimating your abilities.
I don't know. How tall is this 13-year? I've got wingspan on him, and
I've got wingspan.
I've
He's
got
a knife, you idiot.
I've got weight. Yeah. Yeah.
He's
You know
just
how-
gonna cut the shit out of you.
Ben, you know, okay. Do you know how many knife wounds a person can survive? A lot. Ben.
Survive? Do you want to get all your fingers cut off?
Yeah, he's not gonna cut off my fingers. Knife's not that thick and heavy, Ben. He'll stab at me, and basically, you control that hand.
How many nerves are in
the-
your arm?
Enough,
How many nerves
Ben.
that you need are in
Enough.
your arm?
Enough, but you know, you can. If he stabs me once, I've got the knife now. All right, I
Okay,
just have
well,
to
stay
start
tuned.
hammering.
I figured out
his
what we're doing
face.
next episode. We're gonna live role
We're gonna
play
fight a
Nate
13-year-old?
fighting Jeff the Killer. I'll prepare a D&D session. I'll prepare a monster stat block, and you can just knife fight Jeff the Killer. We'll run the simulations. We'll see if this is possible. Okay, so Mommy, you lied, and then he gutted them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep.
Really? That was it. They didn't like scream as they were getting repeatedly stabbed to death. He has to kill
Jeff's-
2 of them as well. Like, I'm pretty sure me and another person for sure could take on a 13-year-old.
I will give you that. Yeah, definitely. You could at least stop him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could stab at me, and then you just punch him in the head
But
repeatedly. And
what if the 13-year-old had Jeff's feeling in his gut, the tugging? Lou went back to sleep, tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth.
Oh, is Lou the kid that survived the killings?
No.
Oh.
He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep.
Why are you being Ernest Klein when he's Jeff? What is this?
Because he laughs like a crazy person. That's how crazy people laugh.
Like Ernest Klein?
That's not how Ernest Klein laughs. Sadly, Ernest Klein looks and sounds a lot like me. I have a better voice, I think. But, yeah. So, by the way, that's the end.
That's it?
That's the end. Lou died. So, I believe Lou died. It's maybe he just went to sleep, but I'm not that optimistic about Lou's chances.
So we know who this kid is because he matches the description of a kid who went to the ER after getting in a lethal fight where 2 but probably 3 people died. And he got covered in gas and bleach. And he looks like a horror movie monster. So we know who he is. Like, I think we can get him. I think really we just wait until the lack of sleep kills him and he just dies.
So
we don't even really need to hunt him down. He'll be dead in a few days.
So I can tell you the version of the story I'm reading. Let me scroll up to the top here. The cover picture is an anime goth hot guy Jeff who still has eyelids because he has eyeshadow on them. And he is dressed in the latest Hot Topic fashion, though it is his signature hoodie and pants.
Was it the latest Hot Topic, or is it the latest for 2000 and whatever?
The latest for 2000 whatever. Okay. But it's coming back. Emo is coming back, and then it might already be gone by now. I don't know, but it came back briefly.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ben.
So, Jeff the Killer, lots of iterations. Why do people like this?
Good question.
It's got big meme energy. The ridiculousness of the story makes it fun to read. Like, I have read this probably half a dozen times. I have publicly read this at, like, parties and shit. When we were in college and, like, you have nothing to do, we would just... I would sit around and, like, read these for people.
Did you not have access to weed?
I'm going to tell you that didn't hinder my reading of this.
That is a fair point.
It might have actually brought out some of the tones of Jeff's laugh. Or maybe I forgot how long I'd been laughing. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun to read. There have been many iterations of the story. There apparently, I was reading, was an original version of this where Jeff doesn't kill his family.
Okay.
That just seems kind of like a power fantasy about killing your bullies then. And people thought that was lame. So somebody added to it that Jeff kills his family. And this is kind of the rule of cool, right? With copy pastas, creepy pastas,
without
urban
killing
legends.
the family, it doesn't explain why he is on a killing spree in the beginning, right?
Well, he would still be insane. He would still have the weird face.
Yeah, but then, like, presumably he would return to a home and, like, his parents would be like, oh, there's a description in the newspaper of the killer that it's gotta be you. No one else matches this description, Jeff. Like, sorry, but I called the police. They're here to haul you away for, I guess, life? Because we haven't heard of due process, so off you go, bye!
I'm just saying, when I saw Jeff the Killer at Spirit Halloween, I thought back to my college dorm, and I was like, holy shit, that story you just heard is now a mask that was produced in a factory. Somebody modeled it, poured the plastic, put it on a line, and shipped it. And it is being sold in a store. They made it real. Not that, like, there's really a Jeff the Killer that's going to kill you, but, like, they made it legitimate, I guess. And I don't know what that means, but I feel like it means something. So in the spirit of not being fair to media, let's give it the rubric.
All right. Blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja.
Thank you for actually
Ampersand
giving a real you. Damn it.
rubric.
Okay, rubric. Content and ideas.
I guess
It hurts, doesn't it? Because you know it's a 3.
I was gonna say I'm trying to argue a 2, and I don't think I can.
It's a 3.
Clear ideas and plot points are present, but maybe underdeveloped or under-original. I think underdeveloped for sure. Unoriginal, just the Joker thing. I think you could argue this.
Yeah, it's not original, but no, it's a 3. It's a solid 3. Organization.
I'm gonna go with a 2, Ben.
It's a 2.
The organizational structure is present, but ineffective. I agree. Why was there even an article at the beginning and we went back in time? I don't know.
Use of language. Which is the whole reason I wanted to rubric this, because I've never gotten to use it before. It is a 1. You guys weren't there.
It sounds like a 1 based on what you're saying.
Yeah, I cleaned some of it up for you. I mean, just simply having another person read it probably cleans some of it up for you. But even I, having read it many times before, had to stop and figure out what the fuck was going on, who was speaking. It's bad English. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Personal preference.
I'm looking at a 2.
5.
Not a fan.
Absolutely loved it.
But others can. I understand the appeal.
I'd read it every Halloween.
All right. Recommendation strength, Ben.
I want to say a 3. If you can consider creepypasta a genre, but since you probably can't,
I'm going with a 2 for that reason.
I'm gonna go with a 2. Yep. I think the creepypasta thing, you gotta be. It's not mainstream. It's never gonna be mainstream. It's too crappy to be mainstream. And we've had this conversation. You know, like. We initially thought like, oh, maybe we'll cover really, really terrible books, which I guess is what we just did. And maybe people will like the ride and enjoy it. But people don't read good books, let alone bad books, unless you're me and you to a lesser extent. So
unfortunately, yeah.
If you're gonna read crap,
you're not wrong.
I don't know. Who's editing this one? Can I edit this one?
Do you want to edit this one? Okay.
I would like to edit this one.
I'll let you edit this one.
I need to decide whether or not I want a lot of things to go in. So I think it's a 2. It's not good. And I know it's tough for me to say, like, Jeff the Killer has fucking made it, in my opinion. It's somehow, like, it's in Spirit Halloween. I think it is mainstream now. But to this day, I think you're probably off reading that Jeff the Killer rebooted. If you're a newcomer, if you're not like me, if you're not a creepypasta sommelier or whatever the fuck somebody who's good at food is.
I'm sorry?
I'm a creepypasta sommelier. It's somebody who sniffs wine. I don't know if they can sniff pasta, but maybe they could.
That's not all they're sniffing.
All right, so the final score for Jeff the Killer is, oh God, 18, 24, 44 from me.
30 from me. I think that's still kind of an F.
It got a star. That's all it really needed to do. Jeff the Killer by Anonymous. Happy Halloween. I hope my mom's proud.
I hope she's not.
I'm sure she's not. Speaking of other people who probably aren't proud of me right now, our patrons. If you would like to become a patron and financially support whatever this was, And patrons, by the way, get access to more episodes like this than anyone else. Most of our they get pretty weird. But we got Yacht Plan tier patrons, and the only bonus for being a Yacht Plan tier patron is I shout you out, and that does not stop these fine folks. They want to hear me say their names. They need to hear me say their names. And their names are Jamie, the Gravy Man of the If You Want the Gravy blog. He has been doing horror movies in honor of Spooky Month. He is a fellow celebrant, and I respect that, and you should look at them. We have John Bierce, author of the Mage Errant series. May disagree with my review of Jeff the Killer. I don't know. John has also written The Rack. He's got a new book coming out. He has a Patreon too, where you can check out his short stories. We got Shy with a Y, who was laughing in the background for much of this episode. I'm sure that will be audible. We have Jamie Walker. Jamie Walker has not given me a project to plug, so I will simply say hello, Jamie. And then we have Isekai Sensei Sama, currently rethinking his stance on letting me talk on that podcast. His podcast is That Time I Got Reincarnated as... no, shit. Oh, man, I've done so well for so long. That time I got reincarnated in the same... I just read for like 2 hours, man. I'm out of it. That time I got reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcast or podcast.
Jeff the Killer and Isekai.
Is Jeff the Killer an Isekai? I just noticed that you keep saying Isekai.
I know what I'm doing.
It's killing me a little.
That's the idea. Nate the Killer.
Nate the Killer. How many 13-year-olds can he fight? Let's find out.